let's get into the mailbag, Abby. Where are we going?
Okay, first one. When Tommy Hill comes back, is there a chance Sierra Wright goes to the other side at corner and Marquise Buford moves back to safety?
I think it's possible. I mean, it's a matter of, I'm sure that's a head coach decision as much as a Tony White decision. I think Matt Rule will probably be obviously involved in that kind of decision.
Mm-hmm. It's tough, though, because you're talking about a guy who's a single-digit recipient, a black shirt, Malcolm Hartzog, who we all would assume would be the guy Buford would replace at one of those safety spots. So, I mean, there's, I guess, layers to it. It's not just as easy as plug and play because that, Hartzog earned all those accolades and all those titles.
Yeah, and they don't sub back there.
Yeah, they don't.
So if you get taken out, you're going to be watching.
Could Buford go on the bench and just keep Hartzog out there? I mean, that's another.
It's a possibility. Sean, it's a tremendous question that we just don't have a grasp on.
Because Sierra's been.
Well, how would you know?
Sierra's been better than anyone could have projected this quickly. I mean, you knew his recruiting ranking, top 100 guy, but he looks like that.
Yeah, and I think it took him a while to adapt. They've talked about that they always talk about, they put it in these terms. He had to adjust to the way we do things. And I think there was an adjustment period, and we didn't really know, but man, what you saw immediately from him against Illinois was, oh God, he can play. And then it wasn't just a one-time thing because then you saw the same thing against Purdue. Yeah, they got a player there.
All right, next question.
What is the health status of Bly Hill, and will we see him this year?
Well, he traveled, which tells you he's healthy. Bly is eligible to be a 4-game redshirt guy. I brought that up to Rule, and it got shot down pretty quickly. So I
asked him on Thursday, and Rule said no. No plans to redshirt him.
Really?
This past Thursday before
which I don't
Purdue.
Get that. He hasn't played yet.
Right.
And we're here going into game 6. So
and we're talking about a corner that kind of almost a log jam.
And he won a starting job basically in the spring before the injury.
God, it's good to have these conversations, though. You know how beautiful it is to have that kind of depth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to even have that conversation is a gift from God. It really is.
Robin, he has not logged a snap on defense, correct? Bly Hill
is not.
I don't believe
so. Maybe did he get in at all late in one of those games?
Yeah, well, you do the PFFs for defense, Robin. You don't remember seeing him on there, do you?
Not off the top of my head. No, on the spot.
Just got hammered, Robin.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he's got it. And look, he had a pretty big injury. He's yet to play in a game this season, according to Huskers.com. So, next question.
Is Ed fully on the hot seat?
Look, I think anybody at a job like Nebraska is always on the hot seat. There's a huge microscope on you and what you do, especially when the stakes are high.
Yeah.
And I just think that's what comes when you come to a place like this. That's what comes with it.
Yeah.
And that's the politically correct way to say it.
Yeah. When you get 2 kicks blocked, that contributes to it. I mean, if you just want to put it in simple terms, if he gets 2 kicks blocked again this week by a team that blocks a lot of kicks, what will the conversation be? Yeah, he's on the hot seat. I mean, then it would get real hot.
What did they see, though, in the offseason after Ortiz left that gave them the confidence that Camden, Watucky, and Flaggy, but it was mainly Watucky at that time, were good enough to
I'll tell you what
just transition?
I can answer this question, Sean. Watucky had been strong last year as Ortiz's backup. I sit by the guy who coached him, Bill Bush. I mean, he knows Watucky very well. The staff last year, even the previous year, was very confident with Watucky. Rule, if you listen during spring and August, had a good spring, had a good August. There was no problems. Camden Watucky was their guy. He was the guy that learned from Ortiz, and then he would just step into that role, and it wouldn't be a problem. But then all of a sudden, there was a problem. You can liken it to Steve Sachs disease or when Chuck Noblock started throwing the ball over first base on routine grounders. Something just went awry, and it happens. Humans. Yeah, yips. Human beings, that happens in sports.
We saw it with kick like Connor Culp. Remember him as a field goal kicker?
Yeah. It's a good
He
comparison.
made like a 55-yarder at OU, but
and then what happened?
Couldn't make like a 28-yarder.
Right. He's kind of lost. Now Connor Culp is a cautionary tale. He just lost it. I mean, he just kind of lost it. Right.
I remember he lost his truck.
Lost his truck.
But he didn't lose it. It was parked where he parked it. He just lost.
He was having a rough time.
I mean,
he was having a rough time.
Like, you were at the Journal-Star back then.
I was. And I was there when it all went down.
And the Lincoln police were like there was no stolen truck.
Right.
It was where the truck was parked. I mean, so you're missing your kicks, and you pile up. I mean,
Yeah. No, I mean, he wasn't in any trouble.
no,
He
but
just thought his truck got stolen when it was in fact parked where he left it. It's happened to me.
and that happens. I mean, I knew a guy that you guys know that his wife reported their car stolen, and it was back in the parking lot where she parked it.
Right. It happened.
I mean, we left a truck running throughout an entire college football game in Rutgers. So
Hey,
For like
who are we to judge?
7 hours, I think.
I don't know how. There should have been someone that turned it off.
It should have been.
Yeah, blame the truck.
Yeah.
Wow. Dagger.
All right, next question.
Next one. Okay, who is your offensive and defensive MVPs? And if you pick
Easy.
Dylan, you also have to pick someone else on offense.
Well, Dylan Raiola, John Bullock. Any
Yep.
any objections?
No. And then if you have to pick someone other than Dylan, then it gets kind of tricky, right?
Probably Naor.
That'd be a good choice, or Banks, or Barney.
Oh yeah, you're Bar. I'll go.
Yeah.
Bar. Let's go.
I don't know. Has Barney got the ball enough to be an MVP?
He hasn't even played 100 snaps on offense.
Right. I don't know that you could say I can't do that. I think he has that potential going forward. And at the end of the year, we might be saying that. It's just right now, isn't it either Banks or Naor?
Yeah, I'd probably go Nair. I mean, just the fact that he's got so many touchdowns. I mean, like he's produced in the end zone as much as any player on their team, not named Dylan Raiola. So, but Barney has been by far the most exciting player, most electric player.
Ty Robinson, runner-up defense, or would you go?
Tough. I was looking at that last night on the message board, Sean. There's a pretty big gap on defense between John Bullock and number 2.
Well, Ty Robinson has 4 TFLs. Bullock has 5, but Ty Robinson has 11 tackles. Bullock has 29.
Right. You could probably make a case for Bayer. Not a great case. You could probably make a case. Well, you definitely make a case for Robinson.
Yeah, I'd go Robinson,
Second.
especially early in the year.
It's
He
kind of a
was
distant second.
He was
though.
disruptive earlier in the year.
All right, Abby. Final question.
Okay, with one of the top running backs in the country, Kyle Monaghy, coming in, which is the best running back that you have seen in Memorial Stadium?
I'm going to stick with opponents. I'm not going to. I mean,
Okay.
we've seen so many good Husker backs.
Okay.
But I like. I'll go with Adrian Peterson
Ooh, good one. Sean.
in the 2005 game.
Okay.
Did he play in the? It was the 05 game, and he came back from injury. And I mean, he just trucked one of the Bullock brothers. I'll never forget that. It was in Zach Taylor was playing. Dusty Dvorak was playing for Oklahoma, and it was windier.
one,
It was like
Sean.
35 mile an hour south winds. I mean, it was one of the windier south winds you'll see, and it affected the throwing and affected the punting. And Adrian Peterson just was a monster.
24 carries for 146 yards, 2 TDs, long of 58, average of 6.1 per carry,
That's pretty good.
and a 31-24 Sooner victory.
Who else have we seen? I mean, we saw Barry Sanders here.
I
mean,
didn't.
I did. I'd say Barry Sanders.
Rashawn Salam,
Yeah.
Heisman winner.
Yeah, I would say, I would go Nebraska and say Lawrence Phillips. I don't think I saw a better back than Lawrence Phillips. Not for Nebraska. Now, would you say Lawrence Phillips is as good as Barry Sanders? No, probably not. Then Billy Sims. I can go back to Billy Sims for Oklahoma. Freak talent. I mean, just an absolute freak. So those are the guys that come to mind for me. And I'm missing guys, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Heisman winners, though. Ricky Williams has played at Memorial Stadium, and
Yep, he was
that
good.
they snapped.
He was a bear, too.
They snapped the streak, the winning streak.
Yeah.
Major Applewhite, Reggie.
Oh, God, he was good.
That game in '98, that was a 9-3 type Texas team. That game helped him win the Heisman.
And he was ridiculous.
And they kept now Rashawn Salam, rest in peace. They kept him in check.
Under wraps. I don't put Salam in Williams category. I don't put him in Lawrence Phillips category.
Mm-mm.
I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah, there's been 3 notable Heisman running backs that have played in Lincoln: Barry Sanders, Salam, and Ricky Williams. Those are the 3 Heisman winning running backs that we've seen play here, besides Mike Rozier, obviously, who played here in the 80s.
Thank you for mentioning Rozier, because Rozier, if you're going to say Phillips like I do, Rozier's right on his tails. I mean, I've always felt that Lawrence was just a notch ahead of Rozier. I saw them both. Didn't cover both. I covered Lawrence Phillips. I was just a kid when Rozier was running. But I just felt Phillips just a bit more size and power, and he had the whole package. He got strangely good at the end of his career because he gained so much size. When he caught here, he wasn't that big. By the time he left, big, strong, had the whole thing, and a great instinct.
What could have been.